salty Gulf Coast to the rolling high plains, to the piney woods in the east. All across our dear Texas, folks need good food to eat. Our farmers and ranchers are heroes. They've always made Texas great. Texas agriculture matters. It's the heart of the Lone Star State. Oh, Texas got it all, y'all.
Well, howdy, neighbors. I'm your Texas Agriculture Commissioner, Sid Miller. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters, right here on RFD TV. Today, we're cracking open a conversation about egg production in Texas. Texas is a powerhouse when it comes to eggs, as one of the top egg producers in the nation. We produce a staggering 7 billion eggs annually. That's 557 million dozen. A county in East Texas alone ranks 7th in the entire country for poultry and egg production. The poultry industry also contributes a whopping $5 billion to the Texas economy every year, and it supports over 40,000 jobs and pays out nearly $2 billion in wages. With the average American eating 286 eggs per year, it's no wonder that the demand for Texas eggs is through the roof. But Texas egg producers aren't just about quantity, they're also about quality too. Our farmers are committed to raising healthy, happy hens so you can enjoy the freshest, best tasting eggs anywhere. One large egg packs 6 grams of high quality protein and is loaded with essential nutrients like vitamin D and vitamin 12. Now those are crucial for immune support, brain function, and red blood cell production. Hey, eggs aren't just for breakfast. They're the unsung heroes of so many recipes, from mayonnaise to pasta to desserts, meringue, you name it. Whether you're buying from large-scale producer or small family farms, Texas eggs are hard to beat. Now, let's join Tammy Arnder near Seguin, Texas, as she visits with a farmer for Nest Fresh Eggs. From the farm to the table, Texas eggs are another example, and a proud example, as why Texas agriculture matters.
Joe Klein has a passion for poultry. He was raised with cattle, but after attending Texas A&M and taking poultry sciences classes, he knew he'd found his future.
Once I got there and really started working with the chickens, I loved it, so I kind of just stuck with it, and I ended up sticking around and getting a master's as well, so before I went to work in the egg industry. And I've been in the egg industry ever since. I went to work for an egg company and worked for an egg company for about 8 years and had the opportunity to purchase a farm, and went ahead and purchased a farm and kind of never looked back.
So Klein operates his egg business in Fayette County, Texas. He contracts with Nest Fresh for his pasture-raised chickens.
I have a 2-house farm that is basically 2 500-foot houses or stationary houses, and each one holds about 11,000 chickens, laying hens, and they have access to the outdoors from about 8 a.m. till dark every single day. And basically myself and 2 of my employees, we go around and gather the eggs and make sure they're fed and watered, and we collect the eggs and bring them to the front of the chicken house, and then we store them in a cooler until the company comes and picks them up.
Operating an organic pasture-raised egg is quite different than your bigger caged operations.
But when you actually give them access, they do utilize it, and they will go. And to me, they make a. It seems like they make a better product just from grazing in the grass, getting the bugs, pill bugs, caterpillars, grasshoppers, all that stuff. It really helps make that rich yolk color that, the customers seem to like.
Since more people these days are interested in where their food comes from and how it's produced, farmers like Klein know they have a market for their product. But he says many people still don't completely understand the work that goes into that perfect edible egg.
Just everything that goes into it from a nutrition standpoint, making sure they get everything they need. Because that bird is, she's a phenomenal engine. She's genetically bred to lay eggs, and it's really, it's why it's the greatest protein we have.
Most of Klein's eggs stay fairly local throughout Texas at H-E-B stores and Costco. Customers who want a pasture-raised egg will pay more for it. And one of the reasons it costs more is the quality nutrition that goes into feeding that bird.
So, we have to make sure that we're hitting all those levels to keep that bird producing. Most companies have either an internal or they hire a third-party nutritionist that will help them formulate their diets to make sure they're hitting all those amino acid profiles, all the protein levels, the energy levels, as well as the calcium levels, and your calcium to phosphorus ratio, because all that stuff is important.
Klein and his 2 employees pick up the eggs every day. They're helped by a conveyor belt that gets the eggs to a central spot. But after that, it's all by hand. And if you're wondering how many of those fragile eggs are broken, he says it's not as many as you think.
The younger flocks, when we first get them, that shell is hard. You'll get a certain percentage of loss, but really and honestly, by the time they run it on the farm, you're shooting for less than 1% loss, honestly.
So for someone who has literally thousands of eggs available to them on any given day, I had to ask. So do you eat eggs?
I do. I eat a lot of eggs.
I'm Tammy Arender for Texas Agriculture Matters.
Hey friends, today it's my pleasure to have TJ Klein joining me. Now, TJ is the general manager of the Texas operations for MPS Egg Farms and represents the egg industry as commissioner at the Texas Animal Health Commission. Good to have you with us this morning.
Thanks, Commissioner. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself this morning.
Yeah, so I grew up in Fredericksburg, Texas. Went to school at
Hill Country, right?
Yes, sir. That's right. Yeah, grew up Fredericksburg. Went to school at Texas A&M. Did a couple of degrees there and went out into the poultry industry. Started my career off in the broiler industry for a couple of years, and then jumped to the egg industry and egg production side, and have been there ever since. My wife and kids and I live in College Station, Texas, and my wife's in agriculture as well. She's an extension at A&M and poultry science, so we're a very ag-centric family. So
y'all are right, both of you, right in the mix of the poultry.
That's exactly right.
Industry.
Yes.
So, to tell our listeners, some of them may not be that familiar. A lot of them are, but tell us about the process of how egg gets from the farm to the housewife.
Right. Yeah. So my company is MPS Egg Farms. We're the 6th largest egg producer in the U.S. We have operations in Indiana, Illinois, Georgia, and Texas. We're a 6th generation family owned company. So that's an exciting fact that we're still owned by family and spread out across the country, and we service a lot of the U.S. But primarily in Texas, we have 2 operations that service the Texas area, and so kind of the process is we have a day of age. We get we own everything in the process. So we own the pullets, the layers, the processing plants, and the feed mills, and we operate all those as a company. We receive the birds at day of age, so they're baby chicks. They come from local Texas hatchery, most of them do, and then we grow them up in the brooding house. Animal welfare and care is essential throughout the process, but a good quality pullet will produce good quality egg, produce a good quality hen that will produce good quality eggs. So it's a process. We keep them in the birding house, control environments, and feed and give the bird everything they need to be a productive hen one day. Then we move them on to laying hen side. They're there for the rest of their life, and they lay an egg. Typically, a hen lays somewhere between or around an egg a day. Could be a little bit less, a little bit more as they age, but that's kind of a general rule of thumb. And those eggs are taken and processed daily. So every day we're pulling the eggs out of the house. They were laid from the day or night before and processing them. And in the processing plant, they go through grading, washing, disinfecting, inspection, and then they're placed directly into the packaging that goes to the retail store or the food service.
Okay.
So that's kind of the process. And then they go into an egg cooler and they're shipped out to distribution centers or grocery stores or wherever their final destination is.
So retail stores get them in the cartons, USDA grade, large, all that's on there, the farm name's on it. But restaurants and bakeries, they don't buy their eggs that way. They come in, how do they get them?
Yeah, they get them in bulk. A lot of times they get those in bulk cases. So they may buy 15 or 30 dozen at a time, and they use them in baking or any other prepared food products.
Tell you what, folks, we're going to have to take a break, but we'll be right back with TJ Klein right here on Texas Agriculture Matters. Stay tuned. Welcome back, folks, to Texas Agriculture Matters. I'm your host, Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. Now, let's talk more about eggs, specifically MPS eggs and TJ Klein. So, tell us a little bit about the Texas role in egg production. Are we a player or not?
Absolutely, yes. We're the fifth most producing egg state in the U.S., so we're ranked number 5. We have around 26 million hens and pullets in the state of Texas.
That's one for every man, woman, and child in the state.
That's quite a bit, yeah. And we're still
the same
deficit.
as our population.
And we produce around 7 billion eggs a year in the state of Texas.
7 billion eggs.
That is correct, yes.
That's a lot of eggs.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's great. Are there any new technologies that's come along in recent years that's, has helped our labor shortage problem?
Absolutely. So, a lot of the technology I've seen just in my 14-year career that have advanced is a lot of automation in our processing plants. We've seen, and that's obviously helping with some of the labor shortage issues and the handling. But it's really kind of impressive. If you've never visited a facility, I encourage you to. But just the robotics and stuff that are involved in that and the automation to bring the eggs to the front. And then we've made a lot of advancements in our biosecurity practices and principles and things we've done there over the last 15 years to try to ensure our flocks are safe.
Well, and that helps keep the prices down, but actually prices now are kind of high. I mean, I was in the store the other day and I noticed $6 eggs, So what's causing it? Is it the bird flu or what? What are the price? Of course, the price of everything's up right now.
Right.
Eggs are up a good bit.
Yes, sir. So eggs, which a lot of people don't realize, are actually sold on a commodity market, just like corn or other grain. So it's a supply and demand issue. Obviously the bird flu has impacted that with our flocks size for the U.S. being smaller than it is. Yes, sir. So that's impacted the pricing quite a bit. And it's really, for the most part, a simple supply and demand issue. Yeah. And that's what's driving the markets. There's other things, obviously, labor costs and all the things that affect other things, but that's everyday cost.
So it seems like the bird flu is taking out a lot more of the cage-free layers than maybe the traditional commercial flocks. Yeah,
it's hit both of them pretty hard. To be honest, right, it is pretty high right now in California. It's definitely a devastating disease that we're dealing with daily and have been for quite some time.
Let's talk about specialized production, specialized eggs. Like we already mentioned cage-free, but how about organics? What's the place for organic eggs in the market?
Yes, sir. There's my opinion, there's a place for all eggs in the market, and the state of Texas has done a really good job with that as far as what we have in the stores. There's an option for everybody. Kind of as a grower of hens for eggs, we kind of operate under whatever our customer needs we can provide. You know, as a farmer, you've probably heard this from many farmers. We can find ways to get things done that we need to get done, and whatever our customer needs is what
That's what you produce.
we'll
right?
produce. So just a microcosm of it, our farm in Texas has both conventional and cage-free production. We do not have organic, but there is a place for that, and there's people growing those hens that produce organic eggs as well.
Tell us why you think Texas agriculture matters.
Yeah, so obviously it's a big state with a lot of people, and I think agriculture is the key to feeding those people and sustaining the people, and it's really near and dear to my heart. Something I think I view as a noble job is feeding the state and feeding America. A lot of people take for granted our food source. And there's a lot of places in the world that there's not as readily available, safe a source, high quality protein or food in general. And I think it's just so valuable and the backbone of our economy and our society.
TJ, thank you for being with us today and telling us a little bit more about egg production and egg distribution and for educating our viewers on the poultry process.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me, and we really appreciate our partnership with Texas Department of Agriculture.
Hey, folks, let's take a look at another one of our great Go Texan partners. For over 20 years, the Texas Department of Agriculture's Go Texan program has helped promote products made right here in the Lone Star State. From boots to salsa, Go Texan members make the best stuff on earth. Now, friends, let's take a look at one of these fine Texas businesses and why they are Go Texan proud.
Go Texan every day.
Our farm is so much different than the other farms in our industry. I'd say 99% of all chicken farms are raising their chickens in like barns and warehouses. So we're in that less than 1% nationwide that's truly raising these birds on grass, as you can see. Our land's organic, our feed's organic. Transparency is really important because the rest of our industry is not. My name is Diego DeVerde. I'm here on behalf of Greener Pastures Chicken. We've been around since maybe like 2017. We started figuring out what we wanted to do as far as actually the production side of things. I'd say we really started hitting the market not long after 2020. And we've been a Go Texan partner since July of 2018, I believe. Go Texan is one of our most important certifications as far as, just letting people know that we're a local farm and that they're, supporting a local business. Local's a really important call out for us. It's how we've built our brand, and I'd say the Go Texan part has been actually most beneficial and paid off with the schools. Go Texan helped us promote Bring a Chicken to School. And it's really hard to get high quality food into the schools. So that's been like a huge win for us. I'd say maybe where being with Go Texan has been most beneficial. We're the only farm at this scale that has birds on grass with organic standards. Usually you'd find chickens that are organic or chickens that are raised on grass. You would never find both unless it's like, let's say, a really small farm on the coast serving like a Michelin star chef. We get our birds at a day old. They get here as little chicks, and we raise them in the brooders because they wouldn't be able to survive if we just brought them out to the grass straight away. So right in the brooder, you're able to keep it a lot more temperature controlled and really support their immune systems when they're little babies. Then once they've started kind of feathering and they're mature enough to handle the conditions, that's when we bring them out here. And as I mentioned earlier, as far as getting our chicken into schools, that is the biggest win because it is really hard, as you could imagine. As anyone could imagine, all school budgets are kind of tight, So in tandem with TDA, putting out the local food for school grants, Go Texan has been helping us spread the word, either through the emails or through social. It's just huge for us, and it means a lot to those schools, those communities, the parents, the nutritionists. What we do here, I feel like someone once told me the biggest impact you can make is on a local level, and that's what we're trying to do. In the food industry, there's so much confusion, there's so many misleading claims, there's so much confusion that certifications are important, and I think Go Texan is tried and true, and it's a great way for
not only to have that certification on your label, but also the support from TDA. You know, the support from the TDA comms team has been awesome over the years, from email to social to anything else we've ever needed, questions. Also supporting us again with the school effort. I would never say no to. I would highly encourage anyone considering Go Texan to go ahead and pursue that. I'm Diego De Verde with Greener Pastures Chicken, and we're Go Texan proud.
Go Texan every day.
Well, neighbors, thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters. Hey, I hope you enjoyed learning more about egg production right here in Texas. Next time you're at the grocery store, whether you're making deviled eggs for a family picnic or scrambling eggs for breakfast, grab a dozen Texas eggs. You're not just getting a great source of high-quality protein, you're supporting hard-working Texas farmers and our agricultural heritage that keeps our state strong. Now, that's really something to be proud of. As always, I'd like to close by saying thanks to every Texas farmer and rancher who works from sunrise to sunset to help keep our rural heritage alive. Finally, here's today's cowboy logic. There is a human being and being human. You need to learn the difference. Thank you and God bless. And remember, friends, Texas agriculture matters.
From the salty Gulf Coast to the rolling high plains, to the piney woods in the east, all across our dear Texas, folks need good food to eat. Our farmers and ranchers are heroes. They've always made Texas great. Texas agriculture matters. It's the heart of the Lone Star State.
Oh, Texas got it on.